And with that,
Just a couple little housekeeping items to round out the pod today. We
we're gonna
haven't talked about the NBA in a while. We haven't talked about anything in a while. Let's be fair, but
yeah.
um,
The NBA. What a weird season this is. What a weird season. Like,
yeah, considering I haven't paid much attention to the NBA at all. Um, Obviously I've
it
just pulled up the standings here, and to see New York as the fourth best team in the East,
they're like
they're
on
on
a
they're on a 9
8 and 9.
they're on a 9 game win streak.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
they're 7 games over 500. Like I'm dumbfounded more than anything. Atlanta has pulled themselves out of the gutter, while teams I think we talked about this last time we had a pod, but like the Heat and the Pacers, who were expected to be in the top, 4 or 5, them being, in a spot where they might not even make the playoffs if it started today, they'd be in the play-in. So
Yeah.
that's
See,
quite wild.
I hate the East because I still don't like the Nets. It's weird to me that the Nets are the Nets when they KD, Harden, and Kyrie have only played like 7 full games together this entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're all three on the court is when they play the worst,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. Then you go down to the West, right? Look at the West. Look at the Phoenix Suns. 42-17.
I'm telling you right now, if Monty Williams doesn't win Coach of the Year, I'm gonna freaking riot.
Um,
All respect to Quinn Snyder, and all respect to Steve Nash. Right, is the Nets coach?
yep.
All respect to those two. They're fantastic coaches. The fact that the Phoenix Suns were like here
Yeah.
last year, and now they're challenging for the number 1 seed in the West within one season. I'm gonna tell you, there was some juju in that bubble, and they bottled it, and it now sits in the locker room in Phoenix, and it's shit's wild, bro. It's absolutely
Yeah,
wild.
it's honestly crazy. And it's a weird indication because like I see the Nuggets and the Clippers over the Lakers, but then you have to say, okay, the Lakers last night or the other night, AD had his first game back in a hot minute in like 30 games, and KCP and Dennis Schroeder scored 55 points
Yeah,
combined.
the Lakers team doesn't make sense right now, especially once you took out AD and Braun.
Hmm.
Obviously that team took kind of a nosedive. They were first or second the whole season up to that point, and now that honestly, they're still. If Braun and AD are on the court come playoff time, they're going to be a very, very tough out. That's
Oh yeah.
100%. But them sitting here in the 5-6 spot does not do them a whole lot of favors.
See,
Because, like, if they were 1 or 2, they get a fairly easy series to start off with. No matter what here, they look like, because they're 3 games behind Denver for the 4 seed. But, I mean, even then, these two just flip, right? They're 7.5 games behind the Clippers for the 3 seed. They're guaranteeing themselves like the hardest road possible.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. I see. I still think when it comes down to it, I just don't see how and I'm a biased fan, so obviously, but I still don't see how they don't make the Western Conference Finals. Like when you get down to it,
Well, I think the
I
Nuggets are
think
going to
we
take a big hit losing Jamal Murray, obviously.
yeah,
So
that's gonna be a big hit. But then like AD
you
has always
saw
been able to
Denver's
clamp
ability
Jokic.
to push them, in the West Finals last year, and I feel like Denver only got better. Obviously, losing Murray hurts. If Murray was healthy, this would be a heck of a first round series.
Oh yeah, it's gonna.
But then
But
you get a Jazz team that, like, yeah, the Jazz aren't perfect, but there's a reason that they're the top of the West right now. They've found a lot of ways to win games this year.
I'm just saying they're the Hawks from the early 2010s. They have that, they give me that impression so bad. Like I don't ever see them as anything anymore. But I do want to talk about the play-in games for the West. Talk about the Warriors coming back from being like the 13th seed at one point in the season to like now they have a viable, they could possibly make the the playoffs. Like
If I
Steph
were
Curry should
them,
be the MVP.
I agree. We'll get to that in a minute because that's like the last little NBA thing I want to talk about, right? Um, honestly, I don't know about you. You could say what you want. I don't. I guess I don't have a super strong opinion. I just don't like the fact that there's playing games.
Oh, really?
No.
I see. I do because like when you look at this, the Spurs, the Warriors, Grizzlies, and the Blazers, they're all close. They're
Okay, I
all
guess in the
viable
West maybe,
teams.
but here's the thing, right? You're telling
In
me that
the
there's a chance that Miami doesn't make it, but a team like Washington, who is 7 games below 500, could make the play. Like, I get that, in that situation, the team that's ahead of them should beat them, right? I get that. However, in a best of 3 series at best, right? Or it's win 2 if you're the lower seed, win 1 if you're the higher seed, right?
Yep.
Something like that. A lot of fluky shit can happen in 2 games. And so
I agree with
I
you.
just don't love it. And you've heard players say, you know, I think it was Draymond was the one I heard speak the loudest about it. If you're a self-respecting player, you shouldn't be trying to just make the fucking play-in games,
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but like,
Well,
what is it?
and
What
this
does
is one of
this
those.
do for you realistically? If I were these teams, I'd be trying to get down here where the Pelicans are because then, I don't know how if this impacts the lottery in any way. Like, if I accidentally stumble my way ass backwards into the playoffs and lose a spot in the lottery because of it, like, what am I doing? I'm gonna get probably my clap, my ass clapped by one of these 3 teams anyway,
Yeah.
or I guess one of these 2 because you'd only get the. I'm probably not winning that first round series. I think the only team in this 4 that could beat either of these 2 is Portland, and that's because they have Dame on that team. That's like literally it. Or if Golden State makes it in, and as we're talking about, since I don't think there was much more to add on that front.
I was gonna move to why.
Oh, Curry with the absolute heater. We got to shout this man out. This doesn't cover the full stretch of games that he put together, but holy crap. There for about a week and a half, it literally seemed like the dude couldn't miss. You see it here in this 5-game stretch that Kirk Goldsberry took and made into this fantastic shot chart. He averaged 45 points a game for 5 games and shot 46 of 83 from 3. Dude was on an absolute tear. It was crazy to like watch the highlights. He was making what I think in these 5 games he made something like 8, 10, 10, and 11 threes or something like that. Yeah. Just stupid numbers. This man should be the MVP regardless of whether Golden State even makes those play-in games. Because realistically, if you didn't have this man getting a bucket and a half every night, where would you be? You'd probably be right back in the top 3 like you were last year for the draft.
Facts. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, we got to shout that man out. Steph Curry's the shooting GOAT. I mean, neither of us I don't think would dispute that. This man is actually built different. And then the last little NBA thing that we've seen that kind of combines these last this episode, just brings it full circle. The MCU and ESPN are collaborating.
Yeah, and this like cool little thing. Like I look at it as like it's the better version of when Nickelodeon and the NFL got together
Yeah,
and
that's the
did their
first thing
little
I
thing.
thought of.
They call it Marvel's Arena of Heroes is what
Yeah.
it'll be called. And it'll be it doesn't say the date on there, but between the Warriors and Pelicans game, and it looks like a fantastic, fun time. I would tell everyone who has the opportunity, go watch it. I think it'll be great.
To read the quote from The Athletic on Twitter to describe the event a little bit. ESPN and Marvel will collaborate on an alternate telecast of an NBA game in which the Avengers will recruit Warriors and Pelicans players to fight alongside them against an invading alien army. Wow. I'm not 100% sure what the heck I just read. But as the Athletic just said, I did read that correctly. There's going to be aliens and Avengers in an NBA game, and it's like Space Jam on steroids or some shit. I don't even know, man. It could be interesting. I'll have to tune in. And then the last little shout out. You don't have to comment on this if you don't want, but I have to get the plug in as my alma mater got the top overall seed in the FCS playoffs, which started today. Go Jacks, baby. And they did win their first round game against the College of the Holy Cross. Thanks for playing, boys. It was fun. The Jacks won 31-3 and played like absolute dog shit. So hopefully they can clean that up. Playing Southern Illinois next week. Very excited. Once it gets down to the semifinals and the championship game, maybe I can convince Denver to watch, and we can comment on those in a later podcast.
I will only watch these games if we get into a private Discord call and you can share your screen with me.
Oh,
yeah. So if you could pull that off,
we'll see if ESPN will allow me to do such a thing. I doubt that'll happen, but
well,
it's
never
lit
know until you try.
True.
And with that
yeah,
wraps it up.
Wow.
We've been talking.
There was a little bit of rust. We had to knock the rust off.
Gotcha.
But we are going to be back at this. Probably not another traditional podcast before the NFL draft, but we're excited to say it that unless something crazy goes wrong, we're going to do a live show.
Yes.
For the NFL draft next Thursday. I believe that is April 29th. And so that could be a ton of fun. At least I hope it will be. Denver and I, obviously big fans of the NFL and all things football. And so I think us just sitting here, I'm thinking maybe, obviously we can't share the screen of the ESPN broadcast. That would be incredibly illegal. And I prefer to keep doing this podcast. I don't know about him. For however long we decide to keep at it. I would hate to have ESPN take us down after a real solid 3-month run here. But we're gonna do that next Thursday. That'd be really cool. We'll obviously share that on socials. And speaking of socials, Denver.
Yeah,
it's been a while since you've done this. This is a big test for you.
Yes. All right, social media accounts you need to go follow and subscribe to. First one, go to Spotify. That's my favorite place to go when I'm not here. It's in my downtime. Got a lot of things going on. Dierks and Denver Podcast. You can find us there and listen to us in audio format. If you love our
search
voices,
that shit.
But if you want to hear our voices and see our beautiful, beautiful domes, go to YouTube at Dierks and Denver Podcast. Search us.
Search that shit.
We don't have a backslash yet, so you have to search us.
Yeah, we're poor yet. It's we don't got that YouTube money.
Maybe and one then day. On Twitter, Let me make sure I get the right Twitter because I remember you always give me shit about not getting the right
You,
Twitter.
you get the other two right most of the time, and then you fuck up the Twitter.
You go to Twitter, you go to your search bar, and you type in at Dierks Denver Pod. And there you can message us, you can retweet us, you can like us, you can follow us, so we can follow you back. We actually don't follow people back, I don't think, but you follow us and you can DM us and we'll talk to you. That's how that works,
Yes.
I think. I could 100% be wrong. I'm not the social media guy here, but I like saying it. It's great. It's a
Yes,
jolly good
you
old
did
time.
very good for being off for almost a month. That was quite impressive.
Thank you.
I'll give you a little golf clap.